How do I stop judging myself? How do you recover from parents who judged you?
So there was a time when I realized that most of my anxiety was coming from self-judgment. And I started to connect the pressure I put on myself. I'm not good enough. I've got to be perfect. I've got to do everything right. I can't make a mistake. I can't fail. I got to look good, blah, 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 with my anxiety, because that creates a lot of anxiety. And I had been judged a lot as I was growing up. And so, of course, I absorbed all that, and I was doing it to myself. What I decided to do is to notice it, just notice it, to notice, starting with the anxiety. Like every time I was anxious, which is step one of inner bonding, I asked, is there some judgment? Am I judging you? And my inner child would say, yeah, you just told me that I'm not good enough or whatever. And so I started to be more aware of my self-judgments, and I was very careful not to judge myself for judging myself. This is one of the things that gets in the way of healing self-judgments, is that people realize they're judging themselves and then they judge themselves for judging themselves. It's important to realize that self-judgment is a form of control, that you're trying to get yourself to do it right. You're trying to get yourself to say the right thing, do the right thing, so that you can get other people's approval. Meanwhile, you're not approving of yourself at all, and so you're creating a vicious circle. But if you judge yourself for judging yourself, you're operating out of the belief that judging yourself will get you to stop judging yourself, which is absurd. So for me, it took me about a year of noticing my judgments without judging myself for me to stop judging myself, and I did. I haven't judged myself in a very, very long time. But it took work, it took consciousness to be aware that I was trying to control with self-judgments and that it was making me feel very anxious.
What are the traits of people who are very fulfilled versus those that are not?
Well, the people that are fulfilled are, first of all, they're loving themselves. They're connecting with themselves. They're connecting with their spiritual guidance. They're bringing love. They're filling themselves up with love. They're sharing love with others. As they learn to love themselves, they become aware of their gifts, of their passions, of really why they're on the planet. And people who are fulfilled are expressing who they are. They're sharing their gifts with other people. They're loving themselves and then wanting to extend that love out to others and share it in their own unique ways. With the research on the planet about the happiest people, it's always people that are giving from the heart, that they're giving to themselves, they're valuing themselves, and they're extending that love out to others in whatever way gives them joy to do that. And that brings a lot of fulfillment.
How do you feel good about yourself if you don't like your looks, your job, your financial situation, or social life?
Yeah, the problem is that those things are a reflection of self-abandonment. And so when you're abandoning yourself, with the judgments, with ignoring your feelings, with addictions, with making others responsible, then you're defining yourself externally by your looks, by your money, by your job, by your friends. And it's never going to be enough. I mean, if you're abandoning yourself, it's like you're empty inside because there's no love, and then no matter how much you get outside, it's like a bottomless pit. It will never fill you. You will never feel good about what you do when you're abandoning yourself. So it's so vitally important that you decide to learn to love yourself, value yourself.
What does it mean if I'm in resistance to people, authority figures, or anyone telling me what to do?
Well, there's a lot of people that have been brought up by controlling authoritarian parents. And they learn to go into resistance. They don't want to be controlled. They may have to give themselves up a lot in order not to be punished, but they find little ways. Like maybe they don't learn, or maybe they don't eat, or maybe they don't get toilet trained. There's all kinds of ways that kids learn to resist. The problem that happens is that then they incorporate the controlling parent, that voice, into their own wounded self. And they already have a resistant kid in there who's learned to resist. So when they have this controlling parent inside telling them what to do, they'll go into complete resistance, whether it's to themselves, whether it's to others, whether it's to their higher guidance. They just go into resistance to being controlled. And not being controlled is like, it becomes their God. It's like it's more important not to be controlled, even if it's killing me, than it is to be loving. And that's a big problem with a lot of people. It's like, I have to resist in order to maintain my integrity, and yet that's a huge false belief that they're maintaining any integrity at all through their resistance. It may have felt that way as a little kid. As an adult, it keeps you very, very stuck.